Finally! Look at that! It's so amazing! Look at this shiny golden apple. Is there anything else here? Wait! No! Hey and welcome back to 100% Minecraft, where I play through every single version of Minecraft before updating. Today I'm back at the old storage room just for a short little trip because I want to finish this version of Minecraft Alpha, finally, because I brought home the golden apple that I needed. It should be kinda here. I left a spot for a regular apple, but obviously they don't exist in this version of Minecraft. I don't know why I missed that when I made this list. Anyway, there are only a few more blocks and items that I need to complete my list before I feel comfortable updating. Most of those blocks are actually some that are in the world that I just can't pick up and I can't put into chests because of that, which isn't a problem. But there are a few items that I still need. I need to craft a diamond block. Technically I have like one outside. I need some obsidian, I need a jukebox, I need all gold and diamond armor as well as tools. And then I only need to make some mushroom soup, and I also need to get the green music disc. Because for some reason we have like a dozen or so yellow ones. And trust me, I've been mining for hours and hours between episodes, and I found like another 20 or so of those. For some reason, never the green ones, they do exist though. I am 100% sure of that. The most interesting thing about this version of Minecraft is actually how rare those golden apples are. And obviously they are even rare in later versions of Minecraft, but for now, like I have found like 3 dozen or so spawners and looted all of their chests, and at some point I actually had to give up. And I was looking into finding like a seed finder kind of website for Minecraft Alpha, but sadly they don't exist to my understanding. But what does exist is actually the old version of MC Edit, so I used that one, booted that up in this version of Minecraft with like my current world loaded, and I just literally in FreeCam basically checked every single spawner and looked into how many, like in all of those chests and looked into those items. Gotta be completely honest, I would have never found that one spawner chest that I got this golden apple from. It's like somewhere between this base and the other one, and it's just like very out there. Funnily enough, exactly next to that one is another spider spawner. And those are the pieces. I just crafted a second. I am talented. No, I wanted a pair of boots. Now I have a full set of diamond armor. I can put that one into the list. And technically, I mean, I could start wearing diamond armor now, right? I know you can only see like the diamonds I have here, but obviously at the other base I have caved so much, I have like another stack of diamonds. So I feel very comfortable using diamond tools starting now. But obviously first tool that we have to make is a hoe. And then I'm running out of diamonds. Would have been nice to have all of my diamonds here, yeah? Yeah, I get it. I am exactly 1 diamond short. Obviously I do have a diamond pick at the other base, or like the Tower of Progress, but I don't have a sword. Wow, can't believe this. Apparently, mushroom stew is a shaped recipe, not shapeless. I can't craft it like this. I was so confused there for a minute. You have to actually stack the mushrooms on top of each other. Anyway, with that, I have basically all the items now. I only need to cook some gold. But otherwise, I do have everything. This is the original diamond pickaxe. This is the original wooden pickaxe. This is the original diamond that has to be somewhere in this list. I want to say here. The original, okay, it's not really original obsidian. It's just the obsidian that I just picked up. I think it's over here. And then I have the jukebox, which probably ends up being somewhere over here. I'm just going to say here. With that, we have basically all the items. I just need to craft the gold stuff, and I also need one last disc, which we can farm at night, and all the other items, or like basically blocks, are things that I can just see in the world. I can't actually put them into blocks yet, if that's even ever possible, right? Just because obviously Silk Touch hasn't existed back here or back then. It's kind of weird when you're doing something with older versions. And look at me being all fancy and dressed up. Isn't that nice? Still can't see my face. But I'm obviously not just here to introduce you to the concept of crafting. I feel like we figured that one out long ago already. Today I also want to build something, because this is going to be the very last episode in Minecraft Alpha 1.1.201. Next episode we will update. Since this is the last episode, I want to at least make some progress on the Tower of Progress. There's like one area that I need to finish in this version, right? Like I can obviously, because it's a museum, I can just add stuff later to that at any point, because nothing is really going to change over the next few versions that is going to make it impossible for me now that I have like all of those items, except for one little thing, which are fishing rods. Fishing rods behave kind of weirdly in this version in particular, because we have them here. We have like a stack of 19 here, and we can just freely stack them. I want to see if I build a stack of 64 fishing rods, if that's going to stay, if I leave them in a specific chest, which means I need to do that now, because next version I think they are going to add fishing. And with that, I'm basically done with the lake structure. Weirdly enough, this really reminded me of building floating islands in the past. But there's obviously still the actual lake part missing. And also the redstone building is now kind of too low. I'm probably going to have to move that one up soon, just because of how this looks like currently. Anyway, you know the outer rim here, like the wool north parts and like some wood over there, this is all going to be replaced with sand. I just don't have the sand actually. Like sand is the one material I basically have nothing of. I have like 16 blocks or something like that, and all of them are already used in here. There are some places I can actually farm sand. Like for example, there's like this little, I'm gonna call it like a lake bed, and there's like another one that I actually covered by the old storage room. But I just have to get to it. For now, I'm just gonna talk about like what I'm actually doing here. This is the lake, basically for all of the pieces in here in the Tower of Progress, right? This is the alpha area, and it's roughly like there's going to be like a border roughly where like the redstone setup is, and there are like some of these markers that I placed like in the previous episode. All of these markers are going to represent like a small little building that I'm going to build in the area, which holds like all of the items, because obviously this is supposed to be like a relatively accurate representation of Alpha Minecraft, and it would be nice to have like a few buildings, and every single building has like some dedicated items in there, and you can like look, touch, smell, lick all of the blocks, like the mossy cobblestone later on, for example, or like the armor and the gear. All of it is going to be like in different areas. This is going to be the lake area, obviously. The lake area holds stuff like sand and clay, and there's going to be like a boat on the water, and I need like a place to put like some wool. I don't know, it might not be like a dedicated area, but like everything that's related to water is going to be around here. Maybe also the cactus. No, wait, I do have a greenhouse, so it's probably going to be somewhere else. Anyway, the reason why this looks like this is obviously because water does not work like it does in modern Minecraft. The biggest issue is actually that water cannot form other sources of water above water. And by that I just basically mean, like, you see this? Like normally, like if you are in modern Minecraft and place like a water block here and one here, this could technically form to like a source block, but this block especially, right, like above the other source block, would form into a proper water source. That doesn't happen in old Minecraft. Which means that I basically have to, if I want to have like everything be consistent with like water, and there should be like no stream, I would have to literally take every single block and place it, and then use like some sort of scaffolding to place like another water block next to it. And that's just too much work. So instead I'm just going to fill the first layer, like the top layer, and then dig out this temporary layer. Like below here there's just basically some space. Can we see it, please? Like here, if you look, there's like this little cavern here, and if I fill it all, I mean, it's not going to be like solid source blocks everywhere, but at least it's going to be water. In any case, I might also sound like kind of different to the previous clip. This is mainly just because I updated my PC. I got like a few more components, mainly just storage. And I updated to Windows 11, because obviously those updates, like the security updates for Windows 10, don't exist anymore like in the near future. I think it's like how many weeks? Like 2 or 3 weeks from where I'm recording this. Anyway, that does mean that a lot of my settings have changed, and this also gave me the opportunity to change a lot of stuff with like my recording setup. I hope it's going to improve both the quality and the whole setup like on my end, because like recording Minecraft especially is kind of awkward, just because of like some weird quirks with the software. And you may also be asking, why am I not just using the water below me to like kind of represent that? That would also fit with like the redstone building over here, and I wouldn't have to put in so much work. Well, the answer is squids. Squids don't exist yet. They will be added in like beta 1.2, I think, with like all of the dyes. But they're going to be spawning basically below sea level, and this obviously means that since this version of Minecraft didn't have squids, I don't want them spawning inside of this room. So I'm gonna have to make sure that this is spawn-proofed for them, basically. So I had to basically build this lake above the other lake, just because if I'm getting really unlucky. I have actually not looked into the seed besides the MC edit thing, so I could find some spawners more easily. But I don't actually know the exact seed, which means I can't actually put it in like a seed finder. I could do that if I really cared and check like what kind of biomes I would be having in the future. Because obviously biomes don't exist yet in Minecraft, right? Like biomes are going to be added like in some of the near future versions. Like the nether biome should be... Wait, do we get biomes next version? I completely forgot, I would have to check. But anyway, now it's time to remove all of those blocks. I used wool as placeholders just because I ran out of dirt, and I don't want a cobblestone on top of cobblestone, because then I don't know which blocks to break later on. And this was a mistake, because without shears it actually takes way, way, way too long to break wool. Ah, and now that this is done, I guess it's time for even more digging of sand this time. So before I moved to the new base, I actually did a lot of terraforming here, right? Like you can probably see that this area is like mostly flat. There was actually a big basin here, and ignore the cube. The cube is important, but ignore it for now. And that did mean that I covered over like this thing here, and there was a sand pit over here. So I can just dig that one out, and I hope that I can get... Yeah, I get it, cave noise. I hope that I can get more than enough sand for like my current projects. And also this is already covered, so I don't really care about it looking ugly. Obviously currently I am living in the other base, which is like 5-ish minutes away, just walking. I want to say it's like 500 blocks, just about. But I will return to this place at some point, so I'm going to make sure that I'm not uglifying this too much. And since we don't really have biomes, there aren't like any deserts I can just dig up, so I really have to make do just with like those little pockets of sand. Luckily, again, like I'm going to terraform here anyway. At some point, the area around the Tower of Progress in general is going to be terraformed a lot, so I don't actually mind it looking kind of ugly in the meantime. But it's obviously going to be something that's going to take many, many episodes. And I don't actually want to do too much of it at the same time, right? Like, which is also why I went for like the actual base. To have like more projects I can work on. And actually still have like a bunch of ideas that I can work on over like the next few episodes. Even if I hadn't gotten the golden apple for this one, I would have still been fine. But even after we are getting the nether in the next episode, we are going to be without like any new content for at least like 6 episodes, which is about as long as the series has been so far. So this is like the absolute minimum. And if I am not done with my projects that I have in mind by that point, I will probably stay inside of the beta 1.1, I want to say, for even longer. Like, you haven't fully seen how long it took me, but like just building that lake probably took me like 2 hours or so. Obviously, there's like kind of the issue that recording during nighttime is kind of awkward, which is why I'm sometimes just standing around waiting for daytime. But if I'm adding that kind of time for every single building inside of there, just about, let's just pretend this is kind of equal, then it's probably still going to take me like a dozen or so hours that I'm just working on the Alpha 1.1.201 section of the Tower of Progress. And then I still have the section for the next update. So there's like a lot of stuff to do, which means that I'm going to limit myself to like 1 or 2 of those projects per episode. And the rest is always going to be about a different project. Gonna be completely honest here, I did not expect these spaces to hold this much sand. I don't know why, but I feel like I can at least fill my inventory and like break those 2 shovels still. Like I already started with like 4 or 5 in the beginning. I don't think the torch trick would actually speed this up, so I'm probably not going to use that. I mean, these ones are like 4 high. This is like almost worth it, but I feel like just using a shovel is probably enough. Ah, I can't believe that there's a cave down here again. Gonna have to explore that another time. Technically, I do have more than enough resources for now, but you know, I do like remembering caves. And that's 1 full inventory, mostly of sand at least. And there technically is a lot still left. Like there's like a little area over here and over there, and obviously we have that cave to explore if I ever feel so inclined to. And this also took like basically a whole Minecraft day. Like the moon is setting over there already. I'm gonna slowly go. Actually, I know this is kind of risky here, but I technically still need to get that 1 disc, right? So I should probably use those nights to start farming some skeletons and creepers. Can I find like a skeleton? I know it's probably way too dark. I'm gonna probably have to edit that in post, so you can at least see something. But there is a creeper, but not a skeleton. I mean another creep. Why are there no skeletons around here? Okay, there's a skeleton. Can I get you into the right position though? There are 2 creepers, right? It's actually kind of hard even for me to tell what's going on here just because it's so dark. Might have to turn off the lights in my room completely. Ah, it kind of helps. Okay, how can I get you near creeper without the creeper blowing up? Better yet, without me blowing up. Okay, I need to hit you 4 times. Okay, got you. Oh, whoa, whoa. That's not good. 3. 4, okay. Now. Come on, skeleton. Oh, perfect. Another golden one. Are you only dropping golden discs? Where's the... That's also a golden one. I am 100% sure that there are green ones. Trust me. Well, in any case, now it's time to fill this basin. I'm just gonna place sand everywhere, but the lowest layer, because this is already filled with dirt. This is kind of in reference to how oceans generate currently. Like, if you look over here, right, like this is all sand, but if I go a little bit down, after 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of water, we actually get dirt. And technically it goes even lower with like even more dirt. And like over here we have like 1 layer here, 2, 3, and 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of water, and then we have dirt. So I try to completely emulate that. Technically not a lake anymore, because we do have like smaller, like those really flat lakes that we see sometimes. With just like 1 or 2 layers of water, but I felt like the ocean, if you can call it that, right? Like there aren't like proper oceans here. I mean, technically, I mean, the way this generates, I mean, this is a big ocean, and then we have like a lot of smaller islands if you think about it. But like biome wise, this isn't technically an ocean. But yeah, I tried to emulate that just to give it some sort of familiar form. Okay, it seems like this is all, at least like inside of the water. Now I actually have to deal with like the space around it. And I'm also mostly out of sand again. I might have to farm some more. But before I go for anything like this, I'm gonna build like a little beach front here. Like I just wanna have like a towel on the floor and like a chest next to it. Basically for all of the blocks, as well as some other ones that I'm gonna find in just a second. feel like this is probably enough space for now. I'm not gonna overdo it, just because I'm kind of limited. And then obviously there's going to be like a step higher, maybe like another layer, and then I'm gonna add some dirt all around and have some grass spread up here. I don't think I'm gonna need a lot of space for this in particular. Let's say we put some wool over here and... Let's not make it symmetrical, like my plan, and have another one over here. Right, just some spaces for people to lay down. Maybe I'm gonna make them 3 long. Just like that. And then before the sun goes down, let's get some protection from that sun. So let's say 3 high. We kind of have to start from the top, which is like a weird quirk with like fences in this version. Ah, it's getting dark. Let's get faster. Hurry! Is this too high? It might be. I also feel like I need different colors. I don't want everything here to be white. You know what? I have an idea. What if we use stone slabs? And just like that? Does this look decent? Maybe I should have made a striped one instead. Let me try that. Still gonna have to put a torch up here. Oh wait, technically I can just slab it all, right? I fear it's not even the worst idea. Let me try. Let me cook here for just a moment. Does this seem fine? I might have to double up on this. Alternatively, I'm just gonna put a torch up there so I don't have to... Like, the parasol just seems a bit too thick. That's one way to put it. Yeah, let's try it another way. So we're gonna use the slabs just to have some different colors here. And we're sadly a little bit limited when it comes to that. To be fair, this is all going to be encased at some point anyway, so we should probably make sure that this is all lit up even in the dark. It's going to be very interesting because we don't actually have any hidden lighting options in this version. Everything is going to be torched. I don't know, I might have to put that back on the drawing board again. I'm fine with it for now, but I feel like I could probably improve it. I just need to figure out what kind of block I want to use. Maybe clay, actually. And maybe lower it by 1. I think this is too high. Right, it's like 4 high. Yeah, that's definitely too high. I don't know. Anyway, we now have the space to put a chest. This is going to hold like everything beach and water related, which also means that we probably want a boat here on the water. Maybe a little pier, actually. And by the way, this is a very interesting interaction that I have been fighting a lot, and especially when I was younger, have died to multiple times. If you, in Alpha and Beta Minecraft, interact with something like a chest or a crafting table, you're actually going to use the item that you're holding. Not if you're holding a block, right? Like, block placement is blocked, but... For example, this. I now have placed a water bucket. Yeah, this is actually an issue. Anyway, I can probably get you slowly into the water. Gonna do that in a moment. Since we don't have slabs, I'm actually going to have to use full blocks here, but we can probably still do something like this. Hopefully I don't have to place the water here later on. Some wood into the water. but just like this, very basic pier. There's actually a way I used to work with boats back in the day. I'm gonna show you guys just for a moment. I'm not gonna leave this here, but back in the day, for some reason it always felt like boats were drifting away from you. So whenever I built like a beach house or something like that, I would place some slabs somewhere. Because as you can see, like, I can just move over the ground. It's very slow, but I can do it. And then once I am in the water, obviously like crashing into any blocks was always annoying. But what you could do, at least in beta Minecraft, was just kind of slide on top of here. Now you had the space to just leave your boat. And once you needed it, you could just slowly, very slowly drift into the water. Because you obviously didn't move far away. And just continue from there. Obviously not gonna use that here, but I wanna have the boat somewhere underwater. I'm gonna bring like all of the blocks for the museum here later, but there's one specific one that I have to get first, and for that I have to go back here to the spawner. Yeah, I get it, there's a cave here. Look at that. Just as I had left it. It kind of looked like a stone spawner for a moment. I was looking at that, it just looked like spinning stone because of the flames. Look at those spiders. Yeah, I'm gonna need like a lot of string. And I don't have any here. But look at that, only one spawn here, and we already got like 6. So this shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna need like 2 stacks. And it only took like 20 minutes, and now I have everything I need. I have a fishing rod, but not just one. I have 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have like a whole stack. And this is the sole reason why I wanted to do this in this version, because the next version they're fixing that, right? Like fishing rods currently are completely useless. They don't do anything. You can just drop them and pick them up, and they're basically just sticks, and they don't even, yeah, they're not even rotated the right way. And I want to see for how long I can keep this stack of 64 fishing rods in this chest. As long as I don't touch it, in theory it should just stay. But maybe, like, I would assume that at some point there's going to be some update that's going to break this. I hope it's not going to break my world, but if that's the case, you know, I have ways around that, right? Like, I make frequent backups and stuff. Still though, this is the most important one. But there's one other important thing that I need to put on this beach. When I was young, clay was a real commodity. Like, I spent hours and hours, and most worlds I've played in, I never even found clay. And in this world, not only am I finding clay constantly, this clay piece I've actually seen like the moment I spawned, basically, right? Like, I went over to here, punched a tree, looked over, and was like, wow, this is clay. So I want to memorialize it. Obviously, I can't really keep it here in this very specific position, but I can build a replica using the original blocks. But I'm gonna have to rotate it by like 180 degrees, but that's fine. And that's it. I mean, there's some sand missing, but this is basically how it looked like, obviously rotated by 180 degrees. Which also means that whenever we enter, because like the entrance is going to be around here, we are going to walk right besides the clay. I want to say like the proper entrance is probably going to be like 5 blocks over there. And then you have like a really great view of like the lake front here. And you can see like all the buildings. This is going to be the redstone building. The greenhouse is going to be around here. There's going to be like a house with a stable. On the other side of the lake is going to be the dungeon, as I call it, where we have like a lot of the mob drops, as well as the entrance into both the spider spawn, and there's technically a zombie spawner down in the underground that I kind of just want to encase in glass. It's completely undisturbed. I'm just gonna remove like the torches that I have there, and it's going to be like part of the exhibit. Got it. I got it. Perfect. And it's actually a green one, okay. I was worried there for a second. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, but I did that thing like 20 times or so, it feels like at this point. And every single time I got like a golden disc instead of the green one. And also every single spawner I found had a yellow disc in there, but not this one. Anyway, that means that we finally have some music. And with that, we are basically at the end of the episode, which also means the end of this version of Minecraft. I am not done with this area, obviously, but I did continue building here. You can see I terraformed quite a lot. I kind of got in the zone, and I actually ran out of cobblestone. I need to bring more from like the other base, because we are completely out. As you can see, this is going to be, like, this is a marker here, obviously. This is going to be like where the, I'm gonna call it like the house is. There's going to be like the, like a bookshelf is going to be there. There's going to be like a crafting table, and like, I would say maybe leather armor. I feel like the rest of the armor probably is going to be in the smith area. This is going to be the stable. Just roughly from the sides, as you can see, there are 4 little pens in there for each of the animals. Obviously, we can't actually put them in here yet. First of all, we can't really lead them. It's technically possible to get them in there, but they are going to despawn all the time. So we have to bring them here in beta 1.8, I think. Is that when they changed the spawning? It might be in 1.0 when they finish the adventure update. In any case, as you can see, there's also a massive wall of white wool. I kind of just want a wool divider here to really show where like the walls are. This corner, by the way, this is probably going to be where I put the art museum, because I still need a place for that one. I completely missed that one while planning. Over there's still redstone building. I feel like I'm just gonna keep that one down low. I just need to get like enough clay to encase it in bricks. And over here there's going to be a few more buildings. Like size-wise, it's going to go like if you go behind here, right? Like this was my original plan around there, so like 5-ish more blocks, and then I have like the rectangle around here. This is going to cost a lot, and I mean a lot of white wool. So it's definitely going to be a long-term project, but again, we have like a lot of episodes, so I'm not too worried about that. And at this point, there is not a lot to do here anymore for this episode. I already brought over all of the items that belong into the beach chests. As you can see, it's just like the boat and those few items. Again, there are like multiple sections, and all of them are going to hold items, and most of them are going to hold more items than this. But there's one very last thing that I need to do before I feel comfortable updating. And that is to rank this version of Minecraft. I have a tier list in front of me. This is something I'm going to do at the end of every single one of the versions when I am ready to update. With this tier list, I kind of want to ask the question, would I update to the next patch if I was on the previous one, right? Like, assume we are like in Minecraft 1.14 and I would be ranking Minecraft 1.15, then the question is basically, is it worth it for me to update if I'm already playing like beta, like not beta, but like the regular version of 1.14? Just to throw out like some numbers. I know this could be kind of confusing just seeing the first version here. I'm sorry about that, but we have to start somewhere. Basically, this is how I'm going to rank this. In my opinion, a C tier version is a version where I'm saying you can update, but it really doesn't matter, right? Like a C tier version would add basically nothing to the game I personally care about. Again, this is a tier list, this is very subjective. I'm not talking about like some objective value that you're getting from an update. A B tier would be like a fine update, right? It adds like a few features that I would like to see in the game and I would be quite willing to update. A tiers add something really amazing where I really recommend, right? Like if you're on the previous patch, where I say you should absolutely update. A D tier patch is worse than a C tier patch, right? It's like it doesn't really add a lot, and it also kind of worsens the experience in like some regards, but also adding some other positives, or it's just like so unmemorable that I completely forgot that this patch exists. F tier would obviously be like the worst one. I don't expect a lot of updates to end up here. Those are basically updates that ruin the game in a certain way. Right, they break like some mechanics that I've been using and don't add anything to compensate for that. And then the very last one where I'm going to put this patch for now is S tier. S tier patches are basically must-play versions of Minecraft. Like if you want to experience a certain version of Minecraft, you should go for this one basically. Obviously there's some bias here because this is the very first version that I'm playing in the series, which basically guarantees that this is a very high spot already. Because this basically means for me, would I rather not play Minecraft or would I play this version, right? Like, so this is automatically an A tier because I am actually having a lot of fun, right? I've spent like 20 to 30 hours at least in this world already, just caving mostly. And I've been enjoying caving a lot actually. Like once I show you like the other inventory with like all the stuff that I have found just while looking for spawners, right? It's been a lot of fun. It's like my go-to game if I just want to relax. Just caving a little bit is really fun. I don't actually think I've properly explained why I chose this specific version of Minecraft. And sadly, it would be a full history lesson on Minecraft to really explain this. But the short version is basically, this is the first version of Alpha Minecraft that also includes sneaking and doesn't have a game-breaking bug in it. Which is why I basically picked it. There was like a bit more to my consideration in there, but that's like the short version. I also really like the idea of having the Nether in the next patch, which would be like a real departure from like the previous version. Overall, I would say I might actually move this one down to like an A tier later on if I get like too many S tier patches, but I don't actually think that is going to be the case. And while I'm really happy about being able to update to the Halloween update now, right, I've been preparing for that for quite some time and I was just stuck on like a few last items. That does not mean that I am actually out of projects for this world or like even this world unupdated. I had like a dozen or so projects that I wanted to work on still, but as I mentioned before, there are going to be like 2-ish patches where not a lot happens, so I'm leaving those projects for those patches. And there are like a lot of ideas that I have that are also kind of patch agnostic, I would say. It's also going to be really interesting to see how the world is going to look in the next patch for 2 reasons. First of all, we are finally getting biomes. I mentioned this some episodes ago already. Technically, for example, we can already get snow in the game, but there were actually 2 different world types. There are like the regular world types that this world is one of, and there are also winter worlds, which are basically just a winter biome where you can get snow everywhere. Since I don't have a winter world, I can't get snow, but it's technically in the game, for example. And next patch should allow me to get snow. Not sure how I'm going to incorporate that one into the museum yet, but I will figure that one out. But the second reason is actually because the next patch is going to change the grass color. This is currently the very classic Minecraft Alpha, very bright green grass, and next time it's going to be quite muted comparatively. Anyway, I hope you've been enjoying the series so far, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye-bye.